Cowboy fans, it's Cowboy Legends for Life. I just want to come back at you with another video. I haven't made one in a couple of days. And I wanted to start with a premise about something. About basically quarterbacks, you know. Good quarterbacks, bad quarterbacks. And I went and did a little research about something. And I think the last time I talked about quarterbacks who did, particular who did 300-yard games in their careers. Okay, that was between Wentz and Dak. Okay, but I went back and I did a breakdown of a few other quarterbacks, just a few, who've thrown 300-yard games in their careers, and that's interesting because I did. You see, the point I'm trying to make here is that people are making this thing about. If you're a good quarterback, you got to throw 300 yards, 400 yards. Oh, this one threw 500 yards, and all this crap, and all that means this and that. Actually, it means absolutely nothing when you break down to the bare minimum. It means nothing. To throw 300 yards in a game is a good feat, but does it win you the game for the majority of the time when you do, or whatever? And if you struggle with that on a team as you being the quarterback, then what does it mean to be a 300-yard quarterback thrower? You know, what does it really mean? It's better to perfect your rate. It's better to perfect your passing ability, passer rating in the game. In other words, be an all-around, overall good quarterback playing in the game, each game you do. I mean, you're talking about the scrambling. You're talking about the handing the ball off. You're talking about the completing passes. You know. Not throwing interceptions and making fumbles or turnovers. All those things mean something when it comes to the QBR. And but I looked to see who had the most 300-yard games in the career. And that number one person is Drew Brees. Drew Brees apparently has thrown 300-yard passing games in his career. 100. Okay? Now, 300 yards, 300 times. That's a pretty damn amazing feat. And Mr. Drew Brees only won the Super Bowl once. Okay? And he actually, in the last several years or so, have not even come close to getting back to it. Even though he was putting up 5,000 yards for several seasons now, until 2017 season. Before that, he had a losing record. Even though he had high numbers in terms of quarterbacking, and was throwing, in fact, he's throwing all those 300-yard games. Here's the thing: back in 2013, after the season was over with, Drew Brees had, I think it was 78. Yeah, 78 100-yard game, 300-yard games thrown. Now, between that time, 2014 until now, he threw 22 more 300-yard games. Now, let's see, Brady threw 12 in that period. Brady been to the Super Bowl how many times? You know, because Brady had a much more balanced team, a much more balanced attack in terms of the running and the passing as well. You understand? A much more disciplined front line, both defense and offense. Okay, so therefore, it didn't really matter too much about who threw what, how many 300-yard games. Everybody used to brag about Tony Romo throwing 300-yard games. You know, Tony Romo, he was amazing, throwing a lot of high passer rating, high passing games in terms of yardage. In fact, in his career, he threw 46, to be exact, 46 300-yard games. None in the postseason, though. Not one time did he throw it in the postseason. Only during the regular season. Now, Drew Brees, his both regular and postseason. Okay, same thing with Tom Brady, regular and postseason. Tom Brady now has 73 in his career. 73. All right, and you go down the line. Who has this and who's that? Who has that? You had one of the great pocket passes. Warren Moon had 49. Okay, and he had 49 of that 49 300-yard games. Okay, But the thing is this. All I'm trying to say is this: is that the amount of amount of 300-yard games you throw doesn't really count to whether your team is a good team or not, whether you're winning or not. It's whether you win or lose. Okay. It's how well you play your set, your position among your running game, your offensive line, your receivers, not making mistakes. All that counts. I mean, and what counts probably the less is how many yards you throw. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've seen many games in the past during the time of Roger Staubach's game where he threw less than 200-yard games, but they destroyed the team 30 points. They destroyed the team 20 points, okay? And he didn't throw 200 yards. Nobody thought that was a big deal back then. Because Roger Staubach comes from an era where he played only 14 games in the season. 16 games came about after he won the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 12. When the Cowboys won Super Bowl 12 that season, that following season it went from 14 to 16 games, and he only played 2 more years after that. So all this stuff about like yardage and percentage and how many other games, Roger Staubach would have probably held those records as well. Kept those records, as a matter of fact, because most of the records belonged to him when he retired. Including game-winning comebacks and all that. He retired. He had that moniker. And the thing is that that's what 11 seasons, 12 seasons times 2. You know what I'm saying? Count those games up. He could have had more yardage than whatever. So it doesn't matter. So it's about how well you play. Okay. It's not about going, wow, this guy got 300 yards and, oh, he must be a fantastic quarterback. What do you mean you have talent? But do you win? Because winning is the bottom line. Winning is the bottom line. All right? Let's look at end it with this, okay? Carson Wentz, very talented. He's got some talent with him to try to win games and things like that. And, he took his team pretty far before he broke down. And then Foles had to take it the rest of the way. Now, he's thrown 8, like I said the other day, he's thrown 8 300-yard games. Dak Prescott thrown 4 300-yard games, right? But Wentz is 3-5 in his games, and Dak Prescott is 4-1, all right? And he should have been 4-0, all right? Because that Ram game, he should have won. It was a Green Bay game, I'm not sure. Either one. I think it was a Ram game. He won one of the games he won of Green Bay, his first game against the Green Bay Packers, he threw 300 yards. Okay, and so the thing is that he lost that game with the Rams with the golf and everything. That last minute of that game, I'm not trying to ramble my words here, but the thing is that he threw over 300 yards and they lost the game. They should not have lost that game. The defense lost that game. Pathetic. They played early on in the first half of the season. Second half, they came on very strong. But they lost that game. Okay, not him. He didn't make any mistakes. He didn't. So I'm just saying that throwing high numbers in yardage in a game as a quarterback really means nothing. Think about this. All those games. Go and check it yourself. How many Drew Brees threw over 100 times, and think about it. You see, you got room. Like I say, he had 46 of them, and how many games he played? He only won 78 games. Tony Romo, only 78. That's all. So I don't know. That's what I feel. What do you think?